on this week's edition of In Focus.
They did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it.
After a wild week on Wall Street and in Washington, the president is now pushing pause on tariffs. Now, his first announcement sent the stock market plunging, but news of this pause sent stocks soaring for a day. As the trading day was closing on Friday, the markets were up once again. Washington correspondent Trevor Shirley explains what's happening now with tariffs and the reactions from around the world.
While the markets did show a sense of relief, those Chinese tariffs could still take a bite out of many Americans' bank accounts. After weeks of threatening global tariffs sending markets into a tailspin, President Donald Trump made an abrupt U-turn Wednesday.
This was something certainly we've been talking about for a period of time, and we decided to pull the trigger.
The president announcing a 3-month pause on nearly all the tariffs he'd previously threatened, except on China. In that case, he increased the tariffs as China refused to back down on its own retaliatory duties on U.S. goods.
He decided that a more general announcement, the one that he made yesterday, was the best way to let everybody understand that he's 100% serious about putting American workers first and making the trade deals happen as fast as possible.
White House officials first said the pause was not because of the brutal sell-offs in the financial markets, but because other countries are seeking negotiations. But the president undercut that, later saying he pulled back because of unease in the markets, only to then say the pause was in fact a way to negotiate.
We don't want to hurt countries that don't need to be hurt, and they all want to negotiate.
Despite markets rallying, Democrats say the policy whiplash isn't sustainable.
This is chaos. This is government by chaos. He keeps changing things from day to day.
Other critics say the president is doing long-term damage.
The president is issuing tariffs by tweet, and nobody has any idea how they're supposed to allocate capital for the next day, much less for the next 10 years.
It's worth noting that 10% baseline tariff on most imported goods remains in place, as does a 25% duty on foreign auto imports. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
Trevor, thank you. Senator Todd Young says he supports the president's mission to rework trade agreements. And after the pause was announced, he posted saying, quote, Hoosier workers, farmers, financial markets, and businesses should be encouraged about the opportunity to pocket substantial concessions with trading partners and renegotiate trade relations. But he adds, as the president continues to focus on a major trade reset, Congress must also ensure that the president has sufficient tools to enforce existing trade law. Senator Young, meanwhile, had this to say at a hearing in D.C. this past week.
I think one of the things, I'm hearing from constituents back home is that trade retaliation doesn't fall on everyone evenly. It has a different impact on a New York tech firm than it might have on a Hoosier soybean farmer. And I hope that's something that's being factored into your analysis as you think about how foreign countermeasures could impact the American economy.
Last week, we also heard from Indiana Congressman Andre Carson.
President Trump instituted
good afternoon, everybody.
These tariffs
Good afternoon, everybody.
in his previous administration. They didn't work.
And you can see more of those interviews on our website. Meantime, another voice that's been critical of the tariffs is former Vice President Mike Pence. The former Indiana governor says he supports tariffs on China, but not on our allies. He spoke this week with our partners at News Nation.
I'm just very grateful that President Trump has seen his way clear to embrace a 90-day pause on most of the tariffs, apart from China, that will give us an opportunity to really engage those nations around the world. I've always said that our goal should be free trade with free nations. The way that we negotiated a free trade agreement with Mexico and Canada during our administration, the USMCA became the largest trade deal in American history. I have every confidence that our allies are going to come to the table, but removing the tariffs that were imposed across the wider world to many of our most important trading partners and allies, to see that pause for 90 days, I think my family and millions of American families are breathing a sigh of relief today.
You spent 4 years serving alongside President Trump. You know him quite well. Is there anything that you've seen so far in the early months of his second term that has surprised you, that has struck you as notably different from his first term?
Well, let me say, I think that the administration in the main has been off to a good start. I've been very impressed with nearly all of the cabinet selections, mostly men and women that I know who bring a great caliber and integrity to service. And also, I think having the president step forward and put back into effect the border policies that we had negotiated with Mexico, the policies that we'd put into effect, and seeing the dramatic reduction of illegal immigration and now the increase in internal enforcement are all very welcome. So I think in the main, they're off to a good start. I welcome the efforts that Elon Musk has led with regard to the Department of Government Efficiency. But I'm hopeful that the Congress now will take those spending cuts and put them into law, because the reality is what one president does by executive order, another president can undo by executive order, but a law is a law. And my hope is that we're going to see real steps forward that take the beginnings of restoring fiscal sanity to Washington, D.C. and enshrine those into the federal budget. So I think they've been off to a good start. I do think the misstep on these broad-based tariffs worldwide and the great anxiety that it created for the American people over the last week was unfortunate, but it's the reason why I commend President Trump for embracing a 90-day pause on most tariffs while staying tough on China. It's the right balance.
Former Vice President Mike Pence there in an interview with News Nation. Meantime, this week, lawmakers approved a new federal budget framework to give congressional approval to much of the president's agenda to extend his tax cuts from 2017, fund mass deportations, and reduce the size of the federal government.
The president has made clear Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid will not take a hit. So you can count on that.
House Republicans plowed ahead on a morally and financially bankrupt plan to gut Medicaid while cutting taxes for billionaires.
Now, one of the no votes Thursday came from Congresswoman Victoria Spartz of Indiana. In a statement on X, she explains that she saw this bill as, quote, setting us up for the largest deficit increase in history. She also believes Congress is, quote, opening up a Pandora's box by changing accounting rules to hide that deficit, in her view. Meantime, at the State House, lawmakers are closing in on the final days of this year's legislative session, working on a new state budget and a new amendment to Governor Braun's plan for property tax relief. State House reporter Hannah Adamson has the latest.
Thursday, the House passed Senate Bill 1 65-29, and although the amended bill doesn't exactly align with Governor Braun's original plan, House Republicans say their updated version could save Hoosier homeowners roughly $1.4 billion in property taxes over the next 3 years.
65 ayes, 29 noes. The bill's passed.
After making sweeping changes to Senate Bill 1 earlier this week, House Republicans passed their updated version of the bill Thursday. If signed into law, Republicans say roughly 2/3 of Hoosier homeowners will pay less in property taxes in 2026 than they will in 2025, for an average savings per household of $300.
I think we've found that balance. I think, it's probably, you always kind of feel you hit the sweet spot when everybody's just a little bit cranky on every side of the issue. So, but I feel like they should be pleased with the type of support relief that we're providing.
But Democrats say the bill would cut $750 million from public schools through 2028 and increase local income taxes by more than $1 billion each year to make up for fewer property tax revenues.
It's a tax hike. It's a tax hike on all of us here.
The drastic change in Indiana's tax policy will force local communities to raise your taxes to keep schools open and ambulances running.
The bill allows larger cities to impose their own local income tax up to 1.2% for the first time. Economist Michael Hicks says that will most likely shift the tax burden from seniors, disabled veterans, and wealthier homeowners to younger, poorer Hoosiers.
We are going to find by this time next year there are big winners and big losers. We're going to see some households that are walking out of this with several $100s per year in their pocket, and other households that find themselves several $100s per year poorer because of the offsetting income tax.
The governor says his team is reviewing the changes to the bill. Meanwhile, Senate Republicans say discussions will take place over the coming weekend to determine if the Senate will concur with the House's changes. Reporting from the Indiana State House, I'm Hannah Adamson.
Hannah, thanks. Meantime, the state budget continues to move forward in the Senate with a new amendment this week requiring annual travel reports for the governor and lieutenant governor, amongst others, including requiring the Secretary of State's funds to be approved by lawmakers. This week, we caught up with the leading Democrat on the House Ways and Means Committee to talk about the budget and this issue of property taxes.
We have a lot to do in the next 2 weeks.
Even if the House and Senate agree on a proposal, will it be enough for the governor? I mean, he has threatened to veto the bill all out, maybe not even sign it, maybe call a special session.
Great point. I think we're pretty far away from where the governor wants to be. I believe that this governor is still learning the legislative process, even though he's been part of it. But it's not what he wants. It's not what he ran on, and I don't think it's where I don't think it's landed where he wants it. This bill that came out today in Ways and Means is not ready for prime time.
Meantime, a plan to change Medicaid is moving forward. Senate Bill 2 passed out of the House Tuesday with additional requirements for Hoosiers to stay on Medicaid. Those include mandating a certain number of work hours per week. And instead of a yearly review, enrollees will be checked every 3 months to make sure they're eligible. There's also a bill dealing with nonprofit hospitals and rural health care that has some local health care providers concerned.
Without the rural communities, you have larger deserts. They talked about OB deserts previously. If some of these laws pass, you will have hospitals in the rural communities closing, and then patients will have to be driving further.
More on that bill, House Bill 1004, in the days ahead. Up next, we'll talk with our panel about the president's pause on tariffs and the reaction here in Indiana and around the world. And we'll get the panel's take on the latest from the State House as well on the key issue of property taxes and what it could mean for you and your money. That's next.